Welcome back to another episode of Unscripted, the go-to podcast for those flipping the script and taking the unexpected path. I'm your host, Jessica Bergio, holistic life and business coach, author, speaker, and self-proclaimed high-energy hype girl. Each week, I'm bringing you inside. No gatekeeping here. I'll touch on proven holistic business strategies, powerful mindset shifts that have led my clients through massive transformations, and no BS conversation with industry leaders designed to help you get out of your own way to actively pursue a life of purpose. If you're ready to ditch the limitations at the door, hit follow and get ready to be activated to step boldly towards your big goals. Now let's dive in. How are you? I am so excited to record today's episode. I always am excited to record episodes with you, but today is a very special one. I just got done being interviewed for my girl Jessica DeRosa's podcast, and she is someone I've looked up to for many years in the online space. She has a program that she's ran for over 12 years, and she's very successful. Her story was she was a teacher and then moved into the online space and has created this amazing community and culture where she helps early stage entrepreneurs, much like myself, build out launches and frameworks and really get them honed in on their skills to become successful entrepreneurs. And while being interviewed for her podcast, she said some really incredibly nice things to me and just reflected back a lot of what she saw in me. And I feel that at times we don't get that opportunity to put ourselves in situations where someone can pour into us. And I think that's exactly why and what I needed to hear today when I was recording that episode with her. And it's what brings me so much joy in creating masterminds like I do, because it is what we essentially do for each other in those containers and in those groups. We have our one-day retreat, and that is exactly what happens inside of those retreats. People get to see you. People get to hear you. They get to know you, and they get to really pour back into you what they see your gifts are when sometimes you take them for granted. I know that I have a little bit of a presence around me when I come into a room. People have called me confident. People have called me beautiful, which is so lovely and not something I'm usually good with saying or talking about, but I receive that. And I've learned to take that and use it for my greater good. Having confidence comes from practicing. Having the confidence to show up in rooms that I didn't feel ready to put myself into, having the confidence to speak up when I feel scared, having the confidence to be wrong, having the confidence to try things on for size and to see how they feel. Jess and I spoke a lot around alignment and authenticity, which are two buzzwords we were talking about. What does this actually mean? What does alignment feel like in your body? What does alignment look like in your business? What does authenticity mean? What does authenticity feel like? And both of those can be slightly confusing if we're looking to outside sources to show us what that's supposed to look like. And I thought it was funny and ironic to have that conversation with her today because I was feeling actually extremely out of alignment this morning. I flew back from Las Vegas this morning and I did a quick trip with Scott for a couple of days. He had some business out there, and a few things have been coming into my view around how I want to be presenting my business moving forward. Now, I love business strategy. I love accountability. I love helping you take needle moving actions in your business and your life in order to create a deeper sense of fulfillment, a deeper sense of self-worth. And if we look at the things that feel like a problem in our life, we call them the symptoms. If we look at the things that are a problem in our life, I don't have enough confidence to chase that dream. I don't have enough confidence to show up for myself every day in my life or my business. I don't have the confidence to charge more. I don't have the confidence to put out a program or an offer or a service. You only build up that confidence by taking the action and doing the things. And the more experience we get under our belt, the better we feel in the confidence buckets and the better we feel around our authentic voice if it's putting something out there. When we look to see how everyone else is doing things, it's really hard to attune to what we really want to be saying and how we want to be sharing. Now, are there frameworks and structures of ways you can create posts on social media? Sure. Have a good hook. Make sure there's a call to action. Give value. Yes, we can check all of those boxes and still be authentic and still feel in alignment with who we are and our purpose. But what I really wanted to remind you of today was that alignment piece can feel a little bit tricky when you're in the new or early stages of building something or starting something or trying something. It can feel out of alignment to get up early. It can feel out of alignment to turn on a live and start recording. It can feel out of alignment to start recording a podcast because you don't really know what you're doing. It can feel out of alignment to say that you have expertise in something because you know there's 500 million people who have more expertise than you. So who are you to say that you have expertise? It can feel out of alignment to say hi to that guy that you want to be talking to. It can feel out of alignment to wear a really bold color that you normally wouldn't wear. It can feel out of alignment to fucking put on a push-up bra and have your tits hanging out. But maybe you feel like you want to be a bad bitch this weekend and you want to push your tits out. I don't know. I'm sharing funny analogies because sometimes alignment with just specific things in our business or just specific things that we're trying to fix, if you know what I mean. Whereas alignment can be like, I don't want to be talking about this in my business anymore. Or if you're one of my brick and mortar friends, I don't want to be giving that service anymore. It doesn't feel aligned for me to do men's haircuts anymore. I just don't want to do them. I don't have to have a fucking reason behind it. I don't have to explain it to anybody. I just don't want to do these anymore. That can feel out of alignment. Now, we also went a few levels deeper where I talked about how I've helped a few clients recently stop the bleeding. That's what I call it. Stop the bleeding around things that maybe don't feel like they're aligned in your business. Maybe the alignment means they're not making money. Maybe the alignment means like, I really don't want to be working with that type of clientele anymore. Maybe alignment means I don't want to take early clients, so I have to start saying no to these few people who can only come in the morning. Alignment may feel like I don't want to have certain discussions during my coaching calls that don't feel aligned for me because it's not really what I want to be talking about. So what happens when we want to feel more in alignment? What do we have to create? We have to create boundaries. We have to create non-negotiables. Now, those often are tough to do. It's easy to say, these are my boundaries, these are my non-negotiables. What's harder is to enforce them upon yourself to actually implement. And a lot of times boundaries are really just for you, not for everybody else. You don't have to have a list of your boundaries on your website. You don't have to post it on social media what your boundaries are. You don't have to give a list to your boyfriend of what your boundaries are. You literally can just know from a place of knowingness what you will and won't deal with, what you will and won't compromise for, what you will and won't show up for. And then when we really attune to why we have those boundaries, if I don't have that boundary, then I'm going to feel shame and guilt because I did or didn't do something. If I don't put that boundary in place, I'm going to feel like someone's walking all over me all the time. If I don't put that boundary in place, I'm going to hate my job by the end of the month because I'm still having conversations I don't want to be having with certain clients. Or I didn't say I don't want to do that men's cut because he called. I felt really bad saying, no, I don't want to do your hair anymore. So it felt like a personal no to him. So I said yes. And now I've dreaded it all week because I really don't want to be doing that. So I always challenge my clients to create this list of non-negotiables and boundaries when you are in a very centered, clear-headed place. You don't want to be establishing boundaries and non-negotiables when you're pissed off and you're angry and whatever. But sometimes it takes that level of pain in order to understand and listen to yourself, where you're like, okay, that is the last time I'm saying yes to something I really wanted to say fuck no to. And only then can you sit, maybe go for a walk, clear that energy, and say, I no longer will do this anymore. And if you do need to make a public announcement, go for it. If you do need to tell that client, and just give that men's client an example, sir, I no longer do men's haircuts. I want to refer you to my really good friend so-and-so who does those. That's a great example to just share with you. Maybe you have a client in your business and you've been so desperate for a new client that you were willing to say yes to work with somebody that you essentially don't really want to work with. And now, going back to generation just 1.0, I said yes to everything in the beginning of my business to find out later what I did and didn't really want to be doing. But for many years, I said yes to everything in order to try it on for size long enough to know if I really did like it or if I just felt like a beginner or an imposter doing the thing. The way I got into doing wedding hair was because nobody at my salon was brave enough to take updos. Nobody was brave enough to take on makeup clients. They were like, I don't know how to do that. Nobody was brave enough to take on perms or color corrections. So I got really good at figuring things out, and problem solving became something that I loved to do. Now, as I got busier and more booked, I looked at the numbers. What was bringing me more income? What was costing me more energy throughout the day? And I streamlined my business and stayed doing the things that I really love to do because I got busy enough. I could actually choose and remove things that weren't serving me or feeling in alignment anymore. That was a boundary I created. I don't want to do color corrections and stand there for 10 hours and hope that this comes out good. I wanted repeatable, happy clients who stuck to what I shared with them. Hey, these are my boundaries. You take care of your hair, I'll take care of your hair. It was like a mutual understanding and respect. So I always like to give those examples because they're my real-time experience. And with clients, it's different too, because everybody does truly want to feel in alignment with who they are. They want to feel like they're authentically showing up as themselves. And if you are in a huge pivot in your life, if you are making big decisions where once you maybe didn't always get to make the decisions, it can feel scary to trust yourself and to trust that you are showing up authentically. And that's why I'm a huge advocate for having a podcast, whether it's just a hobby in the beginning. But this podcast has really helped me find my voice and really helped me attune to what am I really feeling right now? And getting to have amazing, epic conversations with guests who are also walking along the path of entrepreneurship with me has helped me 10x my mindset and really 100x my growth. It's taught me consistency. It's taught me how to really stick to something and not quit and give up when things feel a little bit hard, and to recognize that you're just having a hard week. It's not necessarily the work you're doing that's hard. And if you quit, that's the quickest way to nothing. And it wouldn't be a failure if I quit tomorrow and said, hey, I'm done doing the podcast. It would just be, I'm done doing the podcast. But when we're in seasons of wanting to tap back into that alignment, if you're feeling out of alignment, what we can do is get quiet. And that's where the power of our tools come into play. That's why my journal practice in the morning is so important to me. And it doesn't have to be 3 hours. It can be 10 minutes. It can be throughout the day if I need to write out what I'm thinking and feeling. A lot of times I'll think to myself, you just thought it. Why do you need to go write it down? But when I put words to paper, it kind of gets out of my body. It's a way of moving energy. Also breath work. You all know I am a huge fan of breath work in the sense of what it can do for my body. It's a reset. It's a recalibration tool that I use. It's a nervous system regulation tool to allow me to express my feelings in a safe and confined place. I usually do breath work alone at home. And it's one of those things that every single time I want to do it, I have so much resistance around doing it because it is work. It is like working out. It is like doing anything. But afterwards, I'm able to release so much stuck, pent up energy, whether I need to cry or whether I need to laugh or whether I need to pound my fists into the mat. I literally have never had a breath work where I didn't feel a little bit better. So these tools can be really important when you are in deep search of alignment and deep search of finding out your true authentic self. But remember, everybody is putting out a version of themselves that they want you to see on social media. So if you are feeling confused and lost due to the fact that you've been consuming too much and you've not been creating enough, that's probably where you need to start. I would mute anybody on social media that's making you feel any type of way. I would stay away from any kind of propaganda that's not feeding your creative soul and making you feel out of alignment or making you question who you are or making you feel like you need to do something that doesn't truly feel like what you should be doing. Just tap back into who you know you are and allow for that authenticity piece to come through by doing the work. Taking that action is going to give you that clarity, and it's going to breed that confidence that I know you're so deeply desiring. And if you are someone who is looking to connect with other like-minded people who are similar in this season right now and who want camaraderie, who want accountability, who want that really strong support system, I encourage you to check out Unscripted, the mastermind. We launch in July for our next cohort round of that. That is a 5.5-month container that ends with a in-person retreat. Super excited to run that for a second time. We've had so much fun in this last round of Unscripted. And these women that are in it now are just really all experiencing so much growth personally and professionally that it's wild. I think at times you can question what you're truly meant to be doing, but I've never felt more in alignment with my purpose and with being able to hold the space for other women to show up and play full out in their lives and business. If you're interested, just check out the link in the show notes. We'll have that sales page up for Unscripted, the mastermind. And if you missed this retreat this year, which was in Scottsdale, June 6th, I invite you to check out the one that's coming in November. We have these twice a year where you can come and do in-person one-day retreats with us. But if you want to be inside the container and have a 3.5-day experience retreat with us, that is included inside the mastermind. As always, I'm sending you so much love, just helping you check back in with yourself, tune into that piece that is maybe needing a little bit of attention, needing a little bit of push. And I just encourage you to keep putting that foot on the gas pedal and do the things you need to be doing each and every day to show up in your life and business for that future version of yourself who's going to be so thankful that you did. As always, I'm sending you so much love. I'll see you on the next episode of Unscripted.